So on Friday, all the cable news shows were talking about this Washington Post article that had come out, uh, talking about all the decisions Obama had to make with respect to Russian meddling in the elections. And everybody kept repeating over and over again that there was a White House official or someone in the administration that said that they wish, they had done more and they choked. So the word I kept hearing all Friday night was choked. Obama choked and whatever. And I'm like, man, am I going to get mad at this article? But now I got to read it, right? So I've been wanting to comment on this since the article came out. But first of all, I had to make time to read it because it's a beast. But it's quick reading because even though it's long, it reads like a spy novel and you feel like you're literally right there in the Oval Office with Obama helping him make these insanely tense decisions. Also, I wanted to hear the other side of this, story from, people that I wanted to hear from people that were attacking Obama to see what their opinion was. Because, look, to be real, in the 5% of the time that I disagree with Obama, I'll call him out. And that's cool, but I wanted to get as much information as possible from both sides. And I also wanted to, I'm glad I actually waited a little bit because now we've seen Trump's reaction to that, where he's said that Obama might have actually colluded or obstructed with the Russians. I don't know. And then he also said that Obama did nothing in response to the Russian situation, which is complete BS, okay? And if you disagree with anything I'm about to say, and you haven't actually read the entire article, go drown yourself because you gotta read the whole thing and get the whole scope of what I'm about to get into. Okay, so it's very clear that Obama did a lot. Okay, he kicked out like 35 Russians. I think they were all ambassadors or something. He took over 2 properties that were being used for apparently for Russian espionage. And these are the same properties that Trump is trying to give back to them for whatever reason. Okay, he he also stopped them from. There were a lot of passport applications for people to come into the country from Russia, and they were all working for technology companies or whatever. Obama told the Secret Service to shut it down. Okay, so none of them came into the country because they might have been trying to, do more hacking, etc. Okay, and the thing I'll tell you is this: what I wish the cable news outlets had actually talked about was this quote. It said that Obama instructed aides to pursue ways to deter Moscow and proceed along 3 main paths. Get high-confidence assessment from U.S. intelligence agencies on Russia's role and intent, shore up any vulnerabilities in state-run election systems, and seek bipartisan support from congressional leaders for a statement condemning Moscow and urging states to accept federal help. Now, this is after Obama, as per the article, got everybody and their mama involved from every relevant agency, okay? So that's not doing nothing, okay? Then he came up with a plan, all right? Like a responsible president does. A 3-pronged plan. 3-pronged plan. 3-pronged. Whatever. All right? So he had this plan. Now, the first part of it was to be confident that Putin did this. He found out Putin did this in August. All right? And then he just wanted to have more backup information on that. That's cool. All right? But keep in mind that he found out that Putin was behind this after the Podesta emails had already been hacked and released, because they got released the month before, on the same day as as that tape, right, from Access Hollywood. You know what I'm talking about. So that was done. Now, when it's talking about shoring up vulnerabilities in the state election systems, so Jay Johnson is calling up state governors left and right, as he's attested to under oath in Congress, and they're like, no, we don't want the federales in interfering in our election process and whatever. And Jay Johnson's like, look, we're not trying to interfere. We're just trying to say that you should accept our additional help. We're going to give you all the resources we can to help you on the state level. They basically said, no. Okay? Now, the third one is getting bipartisan support. So these guys go to Congress, and Mitch McConnell, a.k.a. Voldemort, right? Although I said his name, I shouldn't have done that. I'm probably going to have to say 3 Hail Marys later and dance around in front of my mirror. But with the evidence saying that, the elections are being messed up, there's all this fake news going out, and then we've got Russia's behind the WikiLeaks and whatever, and they said, oh, Mitch McConnell specifically is like, I think, there needs to be more information, and we are not going to come out with a joint message condemning these actions and saying that something needs to be done. So these bastards were so intent on winning the election, they put democracy and our election integrity aside. So once you take that off the table, you've got Trump, who's already saying the election's going to be rigged. What was Obama supposed to do? Now, here's the argument from the other side. And look, I think Adam Schiff is great. I got mad respect for the dude, but I disagree with him on this, okay? If you're telling me that Obama, it sounds like they're making 2 arguments, that he could have done 2 things. 1, talk more about it to the public. 2, impose more immediate and larger sanctions on Russia, okay? Wrong on both counts. If he had done either one of those, it would have had the same effect, okay? We're talking about Donald Trump, who already said it was going to be rigged, okay? Have you met Donald Trump? Do you know Donald Trump and how he reacts to things? He would have been on the campaign trail in front of his throngs of supporters saying, look, they're putting more sanctions on Russia. This whole Russia thing is a hoax. I told you it was going to be rigged. And he would have just taken it to another level. Okay? Same response if Obama had himself come out with a statement saying Russia is really messing with these elections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what would have changed? What would have changed? It actually would have done the opposite because Trump would have done the exact same. He would have made it worse by saying, look at what Obama's doing. He's trying to put his foot on the scale and not his finger on the scale, but his whole foot in favor of Hillary. It's a no-win situation. It's a Zugzwang. Okay? Look it up. And so I think that argument is absolutely horrible. I honestly cannot see the other side of this. All right? And if Obama had done anything else, it would have looked like he was trying to tip the scale in favor of Hillary. And unfortunately, Trump ended up benefiting from his own bad behavior. Trump, who was trying to sow seeds of distrust in our electoral system by saying things were going to be rigged because this small man was scared of losing and needed an excuse to tell the public. Okay? It's pathetic, but you know what? He ended up winning because Obama did the right thing. And the other thing I can't stand is any Democrats coming out and saying that, Obama should have done more. That's because you're playing Monday morning quarterback. We have the benefit of hindsight. Don't you think that Obama himself would say the same thing, knowing what we know now, that we've got this bastard in office who's trying to ruin the fabric of our country and our democracy and all the norms of what's good and right? Look at what he's doing with healthcare. Well, I'm not going to go into that, all right? Obama would agree and say, look, if I had to do it all over again, I would do everything I can to benefit Hillary. Everything. But he tried to do the right thing at the time. He's a righteous, good man. But unfortunately, because the polls were wrong, because people were too ashamed to admit to an anonymous person that they were going to vote for Trump, the polls were skewed. Hillary was up by 3 points. And Obama thought that he, by doing the right thing morally, wouldn't affect Hillary at the end of the day. I can't blame him. So, if you disagree, I'd love to hear the other side. I've heard some arguments against it. What more should he have done? I don't know. But all I know is that Trump, because he's an ass, would have completely turned it around and fired up his base. And at the end of the day, no one was going to change their votes because, without being able to show the American public the actual evidence, I don't think it would have made a difference if he had done the sanctions and more sanctions and done more and came out with a speech to the American public every day. I don't think it would have mattered. And Trump would be out there rallying his base even more and causing more distrust of the government. Because we can't show the evidence to our people. And the election might have actually ended up worse. So if you could think of anything more he could have done, I don't know. But I got to defend my dog on this one. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Finally glad I got to get it out. This was a long one, but it was an important one. And if anything, this is my opinion for historical purposes. All right, later.